The Joe Rogan Experience.
All that's real.
But there's two sides to that story. That's the one thing too. Like 100%. So I when I did my dive into immigration, you're like, because the reason why I got into this, you see the gates opening up and people coming through, and I'm like, hold on a second. I've been reporting on the border for, like, I don't know, 10 years. There's no fucking gate where people fucking run through the gate, right?
Right.
And then you look into the thing, and it's like, oh, yeah, like that was before the border, it's after the border, and they were trying to get to the border, because what they try to do is, like, basically touch the fucking fence so that the border guards will then come so that they can get processed, right? And so, like, the gates open and all that shit, and the whole, like, open border shit, right? It's not true. But
what do you mean it's not true?
It's not. They don't have an open border where people are just fucking coming in. Like, look, I'm an immigrant. Like, I know how it works. You have to come in, and
have
it's
you
really
been
hard.
down to the south?
Yeah, we've been down to the south. We've rode the beast. We're in the Darien Gap. Look, hold on. Before I
Go
get
ahead,
fucking into it, but there's on the other side. Yes, it's true. So there's an immigration problem, a huge immigration problem, and there are bad people getting through, and there are cartels running things, and there are illegal people, and there are all this stuff. And by the way, the Republicans have a great message that they stay on. The Democrats don't have a response to that message, right? It's a political fucking quagmire. But I don't care about the political quagmire. I'm like, let's go down. We talked to the head of the border guards. We talked to both the head of the border guards. We talked to sheriffs. We talked to militia dudes in Texas. We talked to everybody. Right? And the problem is that there's just fucking shit on both sides, and there's no fucking sanity when it comes to immigration. There's nobody really saying, okay, this is what's happening here, this is what's happening here. Yes, this is bad, but this is this, and this is that, and the other thing. And there's two narratives, and one narrative is there's open borders with rapists and murderers coming in and eating the cats and eating the dogs. And then on the other side, there's no real, well, that's not really happening. What happened was they were in Mexico, and now that they're being released in here, and here's the stats: 80% come to their meetings, like their whatever the fuck it is. I'm forgetting the word now, but when they get after they get processed, but they get processed, and then they have to come to a meeting and a meeting and a meeting. And the Democrats are like, yeah, it's 85%, and the Republicans are it's like 90% don't come, and 85% do come. And you're like, well, where's the fucking stats coming from? Can we not talk to Homeland? So we reached out to Homeland. We reached out to the fucking committee that runs immigration. We reached out to everybody, and this is why it gets so frustrating, is because nobody is like every answer is different. Every answer is completely different. Sorry to interrupt, but this is why I find it fascinating, because there are, especially on immigration, there are so many givens about what shit means, and in actual fact, like an open border doesn't mean an open border. It doesn't mean you can just fucking walk across the border into America. That doesn't happen.
But some people are walking across the border into America.
They're getting smuggled, or they're trying to get to the border where they give themselves up to border guards who then process them. They become processed. They either get kicked out, they go back, they stay here, and then they get fucking whatever. There's 50 different things that can happen. But like to me, when I saw the open border, so they'll have a tweet, right? Mm-hmm. And it'll say open borders, and they'll have a fucking gate opening with people running through that gate. So you think like, oh, that's the gate to America that people are running through.
Well, there's a lot of openings. I mean, that's the thing about
it. Turns out that footage is all, of course, not true. There are openings in the sense of people can smuggle themselves in through the desert at night.
You're saying smuggle, but people just go across on their own accord too. It's not just like smuggling.
Well, there's a lot of smuggling.
There's a lot of smuggling.
A lot of it. I mean, a lot of it is run by the cartels.
Yeah.
And which is bad.
It's horrible.
Horrible.
Well, there's a lot of missing children.
Exactly.
That's what's really scary. It's like somewhere in the neighborhood of 300,000 missing children.
It's very bad.
Scary.
Very scary. But I'm just saying, like, when you get into immigration as a thing, we're getting into it now.
So you get two narratives.
Two completely different narratives, and near the twain shall meet. That's the interesting thing, is usually, eventually you can get down to something.
Right.
And on this one, it literally depends on who you're talking to.
Right.
A sip of water.
Yeah, that's what's scary about today, is that it's hard to figure out, and depending upon what tribe you're a part of. You know, if you're on the tribe of the right, you think one thing. You're on the tribe of the left.
Even if you're tribeless, I'm sitting there going,
Yeah.
okay, so they'll talk to them about something. So I remember when I was interviewing Obama at the end of his presidency, I was like, what are your big, and all he wanted to talk about was the Republicans. He didn't want to talk about his presidency. So I went to go see Speaker Boehner, because I was talking about Speaker, who, by the way, lovely guy. great guy, and he wanted to talk about his thing. And so you talk, and again, there the twain shall meet. And you're like, at some point, you got to get down to this kernel of truth. And on immigration, it's almost impossible to find. Or maybe it is impossible to find.
Well, the bottom line is a lot of people are being brought into this country and then being shipped to swing states. That's real. That's undeniable. The percentage of people that are in swing states of illegal immigrants moving to swing states is off the hook. It's crazy. It's a bizarre number. It seems to be a strategy. It seems to be a strategy.
Because
then you give them
can't
amnesty.
vote.
Of course you can eventually.
They can't.
They're trying to do that.
I mean, you can vote like in 10, 20 years.
Well,
is that
first
what
of all,
it's like going to be
you have no ID voting, okay, right? This is something that they're pushed in California, and they pushed a lot of places. There's only one reason to have no ID. That's to have people that can vote that shouldn't be voting. That's the only reason. If you only want the people to vote that should be voting, you ask for ID.
Right.
Just like you ask for ID for everything else. For getting on an airplane,
I believe in ID. I'm just saying.
But listen
I'm just
to
saying.
me. The only
if you're
reason
not a
to have
citizen
no
of America,
ID, the only reason to have no ID, and to push that, and it's only being pushed by the Democrats. There's only one reason that makes any logical sense. You want people to vote that probably shouldn't be voting, so you can get some extra votes. That's the only thing that makes sense. So then, if you have people like Nancy Pelosi, who's openly talked about giving amnesty to the people that are already here, you have voters now. So you have voters in swing states that you brought into this country and you provided them an amazing life, and the Democrats brought them there. They're going to be loyal to the Democrats, especially if the Democrats continue to provide them with housing and money. And why would you vote that out? Why would you vote for a bunch of people that want to deport you? They're talking about mass deportations.
Yeah.
Imagine if you came here from Haiti. You lived a terribly poor life in Haiti. Now you have a good job in Springfield, Ohio, and you're like, I can't fucking believe we're in America. This is amazing. And someone comes along and gives you the ability to vote. And then another group is saying, we're going to mass deportate you because you people are eating all the dogs and all the cats. Then there's like this fucking... Of course, you're getting voters.
Yeah.
You're bringing in voters, and you're getting voters. You're going to get them to vote for you.
That's something I haven't seen. I'm not denying it or fighting. That's something we haven't seen. Like personally,